If you're unsure where you stand, chances are she already decided you're either her priority or her placeholder. There's no middle ground. When you matter, she makes it known. When you don't, you'll feel it in her absence. You've felt it, haven't you? That confusion, waiting on a reply, wondering if you did something wrong. Today, we end the confusion and expose the difference between being the one or just an option. Comment: I am the prize if you're ready to see things clearly. Number 1. Emotional detachment. When you notice her energy fading and the warmth she once gave you has turned into cold responses and distant eyes, understand that this shift is not a mistake. It is a decision, and the sooner you stop explaining away the drop in affection as stress or distraction, the faster you will free yourself from the trap of wishful thinking, because the modern dating space is full of men accepting emotional neglect as normal, telling themselves she's just tired, when in reality she's just tired of pretending to be into you. And this is where your self-respect must rise, because a woman's disinterest is not a mystery. It's usually loud and consistent, but most men stay hoping for a return of the version of her that never existed without effort, thinking if they just become a little nicer or more available, she'll come back. But emotional detachment in a woman is rarely reversed by kindness. It is only reversed by consequence. And Stoic men understand this. They know that detachment is a signal not to cling tighter, but to observe with precision and make decisions from clarity, not need. Because every unanswered message, every last-minute cancellation, every half-hearted reply is a vote cast in the reality where you are no longer the priority. And yet most men betray themselves daily by negotiating their standards for a sliver of her attention, forgetting that a woman who values you will not give you anxiety. She will give you certainty, and anything less than that is not romantic confusion. It's emotional eviction in slow motion. So what do you do when her affection fades? You don't beg. You don't chase. You reallocate your focus to yourself. You get back to the gym, not just for your body, but for your discipline. You kill distractions in your schedule. You build something that gives you identity beyond her validation. You return to purpose, because purpose will never ghost you or cancel plans last minute. You surround yourself with challenges that force you to grow instead of waiting for a text from someone who's lost interest. And most importantly, you remind yourself that emotional access to you is a privilege, not a prize to be handed to anyone who isn't showing up with full attention, because a woman's detachment is not an invitation for you to convince her. It's a revelation for you to remember your worth. And if she wants to go, hold the door, but never your breath, because waiting on someone who is emotionally gone is the fastest way to lose yourself. And when you lose yourself trying to earn what should be freely given, you become a shadow of the man you were meant to be. So stop romanticizing emotional crumbs as loyalty, and understand this. When her heart leaves, her habits do too. And it's your responsibility to notice not just the change, but the pattern, to act with conviction, not confusion, because clarity is not found in trying harder, it's found in stepping back. And the men who rise in life are not the ones who wait to be chosen. They are the ones who choose themselves when no one else will. And if you're ready to become that man, clear, grounded, emotionally untouchable, then the Stoic relationship blueprint is your next step. Because this isn't just a book. It's a system for men who are done tolerating confusion, done giving their power away, and ready to build a life so centered that no one's absence can shake them. And the audiobook version is now available, so you can absorb this life-changing blueprint while walking, jogging, or rebuilding your focus. And every timeless principle inside it was written to not just help you understand yourself, but to make sure you never get lost in someone else again. So if you've ever asked, why do I keep ending up in these patterns? Or how do I break free and finally live on my terms? This is your answer. The link is in the comments. Get it now. and keep it for life. Number 2. Vulnerability. Vulnerability is not something you should chase or beg for, because when a woman sees you as the one, she offers it freely. She shares her truth not because you asked, but because she feels seen, heard, respected, and valued. But when you're just an option, she keeps it all locked behind a polished smile and perfect timing, telling you just enough to keep you around, but never enough to bring you in. And this is what most men fail to understand. You can't force depth with someone who only sees you as entertainment or ego supply. And the truth is, if a woman never opens up to you emotionally, it's not because she doesn't know how, it's because she doesn't want to with you. And this isn't something to take personally, it's something to learn from. Because the moment you recognize that emotional distance is not a puzzle to solve, but a message to receive, you gain clarity and freedom. You stop investing time into situations that are designed to keep you stuck, and you start directing your energy into building the kind of life where vulnerability is invited, not negotiated. And the men who live with inner discipline don't chase a woman's openness. They attract it by the way they hold space without needing to fill it with noise, by the way they live with calm assertiveness and quiet standards. And when a woman feels safe in your presence, she won't need to be convinced. She'll feel compelled. But if you constantly find yourself begging for connection and being met with polite resistance, that is not a bond. It's a performance, and it's your job to walk away from women who perform instead of participate. Because staying where you're not emotionally received is how you slowly forget how to even receive real connection when it finally comes. And the longer you tolerate emotional walls, the more you normalize living behind them. So if her soul never shows up in the room even when her body is there, understand what that means. She's already emotionally checked out, and every moment you spend trying to prove your worth to someone who has already decided not to see it is a moment you rob yourself of becoming the man who no longer entertains halfway hearts and part-time people. So if you're tired of emotional breadcrumbs, then become the man who no longer sits at tables where the meal is attention and the bill is your peace. Because emotional openness is never found by chasing. It's found in presence, purpose, and standards. And if she won't meet you there, then that's your answer. And if you keep finding yourself in situations where she never shares her fears, her hopes, her truth, then that's not a woman you're connecting with. That's a placeholder you're performing for, and that's not love, that's self-abandonment wrapped in charm. So step back, assess the reality, not the fantasy, and remember that the connection you want starts with the respect you refuse to compromise. And from this moment forward, you choose not to ask for access. You build a life that commands it. Number 3. Mixed signals. Mixed signals are not confusion, they are clarity in disguise, because when someone is truly interested, their actions and words align effortlessly. But when a woman gives you inconsistent energy, unpredictable communication, or affection that feels like a reward for good behavior, you are not in a relationship. You are in an emotional game where your attention is being bartered for her amusement. And the reason this works on so many men is because they confuse inconsistency with complexity. They think if they just say the right thing or prove their loyalty long enough, the chaos will turn into connection. But it never does, because she's not confused about you, she's just not choosing you. And instead of being honest, she keeps you emotionally hooked with breadcrumbs and broken promises while she waits for someone else to validate her. And if you're the man who keeps showing up when she pulls away, who texts when she vanishes, who forgives every missed call and misaligned word, then understand you are not being respected. You're being tested for how much neglect you will accept before you finally leave, because she wants the security of your consistency without the commitment of giving you her full attention. And this is not sensitivity or shyness. This is selfishness. Plain and clear. And if you ignore this, you will spend years in relationships that never really existed, trapped in a cycle of almost, maybe someday, and your peace will bleed out slowly while you call it loyalty. But the solution is never more tolerance. It is self-discipline. It is stepping back when her actions stop matching her words. It is deciding that your emotional energy is a resource, not a donation. And when you finally understand that clarity is not something others owe you, but something you give yourself by refusing to entertain confusion, everything in your life begins to shift. You stop overthinking texts that don't come. You stop wondering what you did wrong, and you start realizing that the moment someone makes you question your worth, they already don't deserve access to it. So if she's giving you mixed signals, it's because she knows you're still decoding them. And as long as you keep asking, what does this mean? She knows she still has control, but when you decide you no longer need to solve her behavior, when you detach from the pattern and focus entirely on your growth, your clarity, your standards, you stop becoming available to people who communicate like chaos and call it chemistry. And the minute you do that, she'll feel it. She'll notice the absence of your emotional labor, and whether she comes back or not won't even matter, because you'll have remembered who you were before you thought her mixed signals were a message worth decoding. Number 4. Effort. Effort is never accidental. It is always intentional. And when a woman truly values your presence, she shows it in the small and consistent ways that require no prompting or convincing. But when you're just a convenient option, she will give you excuses dressed as explanations and silence wrapped in politeness. And the truth is, most men are not confused. They are simply unwilling to accept that her lack of effort is not a phase, it's a pattern. And the longer you rationalize her inconsistency as busyness or mood swings, the more you lower your own standards to accommodate disrespect disguised as distraction. Because the hard truth is, she gives effort to what she values. And if that's not you, then no amount of waiting, fixing, or proving will change that. And men who understand their value never negotiate consistency. They demand it not with their words, but with their distance. They do not chase effort, they measure it. And when it's not there, they replace access with absence, because they know that energy flows where attention grows. And if she isn't willing to invest emotionally, mentally, and physically, then she's not building with you. She's benefiting from your presence while saving her real energy for someone else. And if you keep giving her the best version of you while she treats you like an afterthought, you're not being loyal, you're being used. And the difference between the two is self-respect. So when you find yourself being the only one initiating contact, planning dates, following up, and checking in, understand that's not a relationship. It's emotional labor you've been conned into doing alone. And effort is never about how much she says she likes you. It's about how much she shows it when you're not reminding her to. And when you stop chasing and start observing, you'll see everything you need to know in the way she responds without being prompted. And the most liberating moment in a man's life is not when she finally texts back. It's when he no longer needs her to. It's when he realizes that love without mutual effort is dependency wearing a mask. And he walks away not because he's angry, but because he's no longer willing to shrink to fit a place he was never chosen for. And from that place of inner peace he builds again, not for revenge, not for validation, but because his time is currency and his energy is sacred, and both are only spent where effort is returned without having to be begged for. Number 5. Future plans. Future plans are the purest indicator of emotional investment, because no woman includes a man in her long-term vision by accident. And when she sees you as part of her future, it's visible in her language, her energy, her planning, and the small details of everyday conversations. But when she sees you as temporary, she avoids anything that anchors her to you beyond the present. And she'll keep conversations light, plans vague, and her schedule tightly controlled so that you never assume you have a real place in her life. And this is where most men get it wrong. They confuse attention with intention. They think her showing up today means she's planning for tomorrow, But if her sentences never begin with "we should" or "next time," then she's not seeing you in her vision. She's seeing you as a filler for her boredom, and the hardest part is not hearing her say she's not serious. It's watching her actions confirm it while you convince yourself otherwise, because when a woman is building with you, she creates space, not excuses. She brings you into her world, piece by piece, not to impress you, but to include you. But when you're just a placeholder, she keeps you outside the gates while giving you glimpses just enough to keep you hopeful. And this is not compatibility, it's convenience. And the sooner you recognize that a woman's long-term interest is seen in her short-term decisions, the faster you stop misreading temporary comfort as permanent connection. And the man who lives by discipline and awareness sees the absence of forward movement as a signal to withdraw, not to chase, because he understands that real partnership is not requested. It is reciprocated without resistance, and you will never have to guess your place in the life of a woman who has already chosen you. She will talk about next month, next year, and everything in between with certainty, not hesitation. And if she avoids it, delays it, or deflects it, then you're not in her future because you're not even solid in her present. And the more you tolerate being on the fringe of someone's plans, the more you abandon the structure of your own. So the solution is not in asking her what she wants. It's in deciding what you're no longer available for, and from that place of grounded confidence, you make moves, not guesses. You take steps, not hints, and you stop auditioning for a role in a life that keeps you backstage. And instead you create a vision so clear for your own future that you instantly spot who fits and who doesn't, and you stop negotiating to stay in places that treat you like an option when you are the builder of the entire foundation. Because future planning is not about forcing someone to choose you. It's about watching who naturally includes you without being asked. And if you're constantly chasing commitment while she's scheduling convenience, you're not in a relationship. You're in a waiting room, and every second you stay there hoping she'll see your worth is a second lost from building the kind of life that commands respect without having to request it. If you've made it this far, it means part of you already knows. You've been giving too much, waiting too long, and settling for less than you deserve, and society is fine with that. It wants you quiet, obedient, confused, and easy to control. But the moment you reclaim your clarity, everything changes. And the Stoic relationship blueprint is that moment, packed with timeless principles that don't just help you walk away from the wrong woman, but guide you into a life where peace, discipline, and purpose come first. And now that it's finally available in audiobook form, you can absorb this power while walking, running, or resetting your life in silence. And once you have it, it's yours forever. Because true wisdom should never expire. So if you're ready to stop being lost in her patterns and start living by your own, comment, "My peace is power," like the video. Subscribe to help more men escape this cycle before it's too late, and grab your copy in the comments before they find a way to silence this message.